What's up guys, I'm Francis the instructor, and today we are going to do a tutorial video on meeting situations. So what is a meeting situation? You are meeting traffic in the road if the road that you're on is narrow, too narrow for two cars, only wide enough for one car, and there's another car oncoming. What do you do in that situation? Well, firstly, let's recap a little bit of theory. So, if I'm driving down the road and there's a hazard like a parked car on my side of the road and there's an oncoming vehicle coming towards me, who's got priority? The oncoming vehicle has priority because I'd need to cross over onto their side of the road and block them to overtake the vehicle. So ideally we need to wait. So the best way to deal with this is by using what we call acceleration sense. If we both approach at 20 miles an hour, we're both going to get to the parked vehicle at the same time. I'll have to stop, and that's not efficient. The best way to deal with it is by me slowing down so that they reach the parked vehicle first, they pass, and then I can overtake without stopping. So let's have a little bit of a trick question now. If you've done your theory test, you'll know the answer to this. Two cars are approaching from either sides of the road, and there's a parked vehicle on both sides now. So hazards on either side of the road. Who has priority? Neither has priority. What you need to do in this situation is look at the body language of the car that's approaching. Are they yielding? Are they moving into the left side of the road? Are they slowing down? You can see this as you're driving. If they are, they're letting you go first. Move into the middle of the road, be assertive, and take that position. If they're not, if they've seen your L plates and they're like, I'm not waiting for a learner, haven't got time for that, which is fine. We're not in a hurry, we're just learning to drive. You're gonna move to the left, you're gonna slow down, and you're going to let them go first. Now, if you're going to slow down and let a vehicle go first, we need to know how to do that safely. So let's talk about the hold back position. So if you weren't able to use acceleration sense, you need to use the hold back position. The hold back position is going to be half in and half out, not next to the curb. If you're next to the curb, you're going to look parked and the vehicles behind you are going to start overtaking. That's annoying because it takes ages to rejoin the stream of traffic. Your holdback position also needs to be not too close to the vehicle in front. If you're too close, you're impairing your vision of what's happening ahead down the road. If I'm too close to the vehicle in front, it's going to be really hard to steer around. I'm going to need to use a lot of steering lock to get around that parked vehicle and go a lot more slowly. If I'm further back, then I'm going to steer a little bit, I'm going to be able to use a lot more speed and get around the vehicle a lot more easily. When you're going into a holdback position, it's important not to signal for the same reason as you don't want to be too close to the curb. Why don't you want to signal? Think about it. What does your signal show? Well, we've got to weigh up the balance. Is it more misleading or more helpful to signal? I'd say in this case, it's more misleading. It would be slightly helpful to signal to show all of the cars around that you intend to move slightly to the left. But you can do that just by the positioning of your car. As soon as the cars behind and the cars in front see your car starting to move to the left, that positioning's told them what you're about to do. It would be more misleading to signal because the car behind you is going to assume, if they haven't seen the vehicles in front, that you're parking, in which case they're going to start overtaking and probably get stuck. Okay, straight away as I'm driving down the road, I'm noticing that the road's too narrow for two cars. So I'm planning in advance and I'm spotting where my passing places are. Always assessing as I'm driving down the road, is this wide enough for two cars or is this wide enough for one? Up ahead with that blue car, I can see this is wide enough for two cars so I can continue. So up ahead, just after the zebra crossing, I can see that the road is narrowing dramatically. And I'm spotting that I might need a holdback position here. There's a car oncoming, so I'm going to check my left mirror, move in, no signal, otherwise the cars behind will think I'm parking, and slowing down to a stop. Not too close to the white van in front and not too close to the curb. Again, that will make it look like you're parking and any cars behind you will try and overtake and then probably get stuck. Here, only wide enough for one car. So I'm planning ahead and spotting my passing places so that if a car does come towards me, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I don't want to get caught out and be surprised. If a car comes towards me and I don't have a plan, I'm going to be surprised and have to make a really quick snap decision, and that's probably going to be a bad one. Okay, up ahead the road is artificially narrowed with the bollard on the right, and up ahead again, bollards on the left and right, the road is narrowed. So I'm checking ahead, is there a car coming towards me? I'm making a plan in advance. There isn't a car coming towards me, but if there was, I would have had a plan and I would have been able to deal with it effectively. Again, I'm assessing the road. The road is always changing, it's continually evolving, and again, there's a narrow section up ahead. There's a line of parked cars. Is there a car coming towards me? There is, but we're gonna meet in the middle. Do I need to use acceleration sense here and slow down? I think I can manage this just by slowing down. So I've stopped again in my hold back position, half in, half out, not too close to the curb, and I'm checking my right mirror before I move off, making sure that there's no motorbikes or cyclists overtaking me. Okay, I'm happy on this road. It's only wide enough for one, but I've got a plan. I know what I'm going to do if a car comes towards me. I've got so many passing places. I've locked them all into my head. And if a car comes towards me, I'm going to think calmly and react. What we call this in driving is LADA. Look, assess, decide, and then act. So while we're stopped at the traffic lights, let's go over LADA. First of all, we need to look at this situation. Next, assess the situation, spot all of our passing places. What's the car in front going to do? The car coming towards me, what's their body language saying? Then decide what to do. Am I going to stop on the left, pull into a passing place? Am I going to make them pull into a passing place on the right? Is it a massive lorry? In which case I might have to pull into the passing place on the right if that's the only option, and then act on it. That's last. So always assessing the road, cyclist ahead. Assess the situation. What's that car going to do? Are they going to stay there? Decide what to do. I'm carrying on down the road, and then act on it. When you drive onto a new road, it's really important to update yourself with the conditions of the road so that you're ready for anything. If there's already a car driving down the road, I'm going to be ready, because as soon as I'm driving into this road, I'm assessing it. I can see that it's too narrow for two cars up ahead. So where's my passing places? I could wait here. There's a passing place on the right that they could move into. I can't use passing places on the right. It would be confusing to swerve into the right to help a car get past. Although, if it's a really narrow road like this one, and it's a big lorry, a bus, or a bin lorry, anything like that, they're not going to be able to use a small passing place on the right. So if that is the only option, let's use some common sense. We'll have to move into that space for them. Okay, car up ahead. Let's look at their body language. Are they moving across for me? Nope. So I'm going to stop here and let them use that passing place on my right. And I'm going to move on here. Let's look at the body language of the car up ahead. He's slowing down. He's using acceleration sense. So I've got enough time to get there and not get stuck. Now, as I'm driving ahead, I can see some cars coming towards me. It's definitely not wide enough for both cars. It's definitely not wide enough for both of us. So I'm going slow. I'm using my acceleration sense. Do I need to stop? Nope. I'm carrying on. It's much more efficient to drive slower and not have to stop than to have to stop and start again. So I'm scanning ahead. I can see this is wide enough for two cars, but where that one section with the bollards is, it's going to be narrow. There's a car coming towards me. Let's look at their body language. He's moving to the middle and not slowing down at all. So I'm gonna move into the left, into my hold back position to let him go past. Always scanning ahead, always assessing the road. There is enough room for two cars. So with this big black Jaguar up ahead, I'm going to carry on as normal. Now, car up ahead, I'm going to slow down slightly, so that we can both pass and nobody has to stop. Acceleration sense, masterclass level 1. So here the road looks pretty wide. I can carry on as normal. There's cars coming towards me, but always reassess. Don't be complacent and think that the road is going to stay this way, because up ahead I can see it's getting a little bit narrower. So spotting my passing places, there's one on the right, they can stop there. There's a nice junction on the left that I can use there. So I'm going to just gently slide to the left to use the space of the junction, and checking my mirrors back out to the right. No one had to stop. That was a good meeting situation. Okay, so I'm entering a new road now. This is Abbeyville Road in Clapham. Classic for meeting situations. It's a really busy road. It's like a little town centre. There's lots of shops running up and down it, so it's busy with pedestrians and busy with cars. So as I'm driving down this road, I'm assessing what's happening ahead. I'm following another car down the road as well. When I'm following another car and they go into a meeting situation, I need to be aware that there might not be enough room for me as well. So as I'm following the car down the road, if they pull over, I might want to use a different passing place to them. I'm always checking and reassessing the road. I'm always spotting my passing places. There's one on the left there. There's one on the right I could force another car into. Always reevaluating. This road looks like it's big enough for two cars now. Although if I get something big like a lorry or a bus come down the road, I need to be aware that I might have to help that bus out and pull over into a passing place for them. Okay, so I can see that I'm coming from a road which is wide enough for two cars. It's going down into a road that's only wide enough for one car. So I'm assessing it. Where's my passing places? I'm limited to options here, so I need to be aware that if a car comes towards me, I might have to stop a little bit early. So there's one on the left. There's a big passing place on the right. Can us and the motorbike fit through this gap? I'm not sure. I'm not going to take any risks. It's definitely not advisable to take any risks for your driving test. So even if it's a motorbike and you think you can squeeze, let's hold back. So I've held back in a nice position here in the middle of the road, making sure that there's enough room on my right for the car and the motorbike to get around me. There's no point stopping in a place where there's a car on either side of you and nobody can get past. So let's assess what's happening ahead. Big silver car, I can see their body language is moving into our right, their left. So I'm going to continue, and thanks very much. Here, let's use some acceleration sense. Thanks for helping us out. And it's really good when someone's helped you out to just give them a little wave and say thanks. It annoys people when they help you out and stop their journey for you and you don't say thanks. Okay, let's go down Abbeville Road again. Is there a car coming towards me? There's a cyclist. Are we both going to fit down the road? Yes, so I'm going to slow down so I don't scare the cyclist and continue. Cab coming towards me, he's not slowing down. I can see that from the body language of the vehicle. So I'm going to slow down here and let him pass. Okay, is the road wide enough for two? I think it is. We're both going to pass with no issues here at all. But I'm keeping updated because I can see up ahead it's narrow. There's a cyclist in front of me. Is it safe to overtake the cyclist now? Definitely not. Is the road wide enough to overtake and give the cyclist enough room? 100% no way. So I'm going to hold back. That's affecting my speed. The cyclist is now the lead road user. So I need to bear that in mind when I'm thinking about passing places. Look at that. There's 3 or 4 cars ahead. I could continue and go behind them, but I'm not going to because I might be getting stuck. So I'm just going to hold back here. If they manage to clear the gap, then the next cars can come down the road. Let's see what happens here. See, if I'd have gone behind that Mini right now, I'd have been stuck and I'd have been blocking off the Audi, the car on the right. So I'm waiting patiently. The Audi's coming towards. There's 2 cars there, in fact, there's 3 cars, and I haven't made a log jam. Nobody's had to reverse. Well, this is a very long line of cars, and guess what? Not one of them said thank you. It's fine. They might have other things on their mind. Okay, so I'm going to check my right mirror. Why is that important? Super important because there might be a motorbike that wants to get around me. They might not have to wait for the meeting situation. They could probably slip through the traffic and not have to wait for everyone else. So I'm definitely checking my mirror every time that I move out of a passing place to make sure nobody's overtaking me at the same time. Okay, let's park up here. So guys, that was meeting situations. I hope you found that video helpful. Remember the 4 steps: look, assess, decide, and then act. Remember to have a plan of what you're going to do if a car comes towards you. Assess the road. Is it wide enough for 2 cars? If it's wide enough for 1, start planning your passing places. If a car comes towards you, know what you're going to do next. If there's anything else that you'd like to know about meeting situations or any other driving techniques or tips or tricks, comment below. I read through all of the comments and I'll be commenting back with you guys. I'm Francis, the instructor for Get Licensed Driving School, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.